Hello, everyone. I am Greg. Swag and I sat down for a 1 hour rage sesh, which we have broken up into videos. So enjoy the series. This is one portion of what we covered in our 1 hour rage session.
First off, they're like retroactively making characters like homosexual or bisexual. Like they're retroactively doing that. Obviously, for someone like MF, we knew that. And like Nico on release, yes, okay, Nico's a lesbian, even though she's like a magical lizard person, so it like doesn't really matter because it's fantasy. But now they're kind of like pushing trans ideology into Legends of Runeterra mostly because people don't really pay attention to it. A while back they had a trans the character in Legends of Runeterra, and he became an aspect. And it's like okay, so first he was biologically male, but he identified as like non-binary, and it's like, okay, what? And then when he ascended, he became a female, and it's like, okay, I guess I can accept it because sure, it's fantasy, but now they're at the point where, oh, is this top surgery? And if you scroll down here, just scroll down a little bit. So, okay, it's not showing up for you.
What is it supposed to be?
Oh, there you go. There you go. Rowan here. So hover over her profile. So it says supervising narrative writer at Riot Games. Okay, so what she says is basically canon. So, they have this male, the male looking Buru like warrior, and TB Skyen, who really is very passionate about transgenderism and LGBTQ, is like, are those top surgery scars? And then she replied, yes, oh gosh, yes, this Buru warrior is transgender. And it's like, why the fuck? Like, it's a fantasy world. Don't you think you could maybe magically like heal scars or change someone's sex if you wanted to, because it's a fudging fantasy world? Like, uh, it, the whole concept of a gender reassignment surgery only happened in the real world. Like, let me think. I don't know, like 50 years ago or 100 years ago, there was not even a single concept of gender reassignment surgery besides, some mad scientists that like to do experiments on people. But now it's like not actually a travesty against humanity, but that's besides the point. It's like it doesn't make sense in the context of the fantasy world, so it's like they're kind of just shoehorning it in there. What do you think?
Right. I agree with what you're saying. The thing is, why is this necessary to do? First of all, transgender or gender reassignment surgery is a really like intense and very like scary thing. It's really not great, right? You're born with what you're born with, and anyone who's been injured or anyone who's like lost a limb or had anything augmented on themselves will tell you that you wish you could be the way you were before. And what this is promoting is the idea that you can like mutilating your body is cool, right? And when kids see
Yeah,
this, when
yeah,
kids who
kind
are
of.
playing this game see this kind of stuff,
I mean,
and
okay, this is kind of like a hidden thing.
Sure,
Like they're
sure. But what I'm saying is like obviously, and we'll see this later on through the stuff we go in the stuff we go through. We'll see this later on. I mean, Riot is pushing the agendas, like pushing every single agenda there is. I believe in order to, you know, because they want to appease, right? It's because they want to appease. It's because they probably have leadership who is like sympathetic or like pro trans LGBTQ, all of this
they're
stuff.
based in
California,
they're based in California, in
right?
like Los Angeles, which is basically the most liberal part of the country.
Right. Well,
So
so to finish what I was saying, um, this type of stuff, this being a video game that kids play, this coming like to the front, if this ever is kind of like more mainstream Riot Games, League of Legends, if they start putting out characters like this that are trans, then it's just going to reinforce this idea that that getting gender reassignment surgery is normal. It's like a good thing, and you're going to have a bunch of kids who are not to the age where they can consent to make decisions about anything, pushing to say, hey, like I don't really feel comfortable with myself, and it's like, and then they may be pressured into starting to take hormones before they finish puberty, before they even start puberty. They may be encouraged to have this kind of reassignment surgery, and it's incredibly scary. Like if this ends up happening to you, or you end up doing this to yourself, there's no going back. I mean, there's absolutely no going back. And it might seem cool right now, but what I would say is, you do things to your body, like people inadvertently do things to their body, like I inadvertently dropped a multi-100-pound weighted bar on my knee, and my knee is not the same. And I wish I could go back to the way things were before. Or I messed up my back. I wish I could go back to the way things were before. And I'm just talking about like physical changes, but we are also talking about what comes along with physical changes, not only genital mutilation, but we're talking about hormone therapy as well. And to promote this as being like a good thing, yes, you may have, there may be issues with like your brain chemistry or something like this, or you may have ideas that, oh, I feel like I feel like something I'm not. Yeah, that's really, really hard to deal with. I imagine that's incredibly hard to deal with, and I don't even know. Like I can't even like begin to understand. But the fact is, like, if you do this, there is no going back. There is no restoring yourself to the previous version of yourself. Like, you are mutilating yourself for the rest of your life, and you are altering your hormones, and you may be screwed for the rest of your life. If I think there's a Reddit page that is stories of people who have detransitioned, and if you just want a little taste of like the reality of this, go on there, read the stories. They are disturbing beyond belief. So when Riot and people at Riot are promoting this, when really any like reasonable, like logical adult is promoting this, and children are seeing it, if children start down this path, they can't even consent, right? But yet children are being allowed to transition. I'm less sympathetic to adults, although I'm still sympathetic to adults. When adults make this decision, you can say, okay, well, they still may not have had all the facts, but they made this decision themselves, and they were able to make this decision. They were an adult. But when kids make these kind of decisions, that's like gross negligence, abuse, whatever it is, by the parents, by anyone else who's involved, in my opinion, because there is no reverting back. If something happens to you before puberty like that or during puberty like that, you are hardcore messed up. So go to dtrans. I think it's
Yeah.
r/dtrans
Yeah.
on right on Reddit.
Yep.
And
Probably gonna get taken down any day though.
and
So
right, yeah. Silence people who had a poor experience with something that is incredibly scary. But yeah, this is really really bad, and this is a video game that a lot of children play, and this is promoting something that is very very toxic and illogical. And so like I said, I can't pretend to understand how people feel being feeling as though they are a man trapped in a woman's body or vice versa. But um, all I ask is we spare the children from this. Like that is what I'm asking. We can have a rational discussion about what adult human beings can do to themselves if they want to do certain things to themselves, like within society. We can have a rational discussion about that. But when it comes to kids, just let the kids grow up, and then they can make the decision for themselves. But this, I feel like, is propaganda. So that's my kind of long-winded take on that.
Yeah. So something about these writers, these people on the narrative team at Riot is sometimes they write something into a story or like they write a story a certain way that's kind of vague, and then afterwards they go on Twitter and they're like, "Oh yeah, this is canon." And really, like, no one can argue with them because they're the writer, but like according to the actual company, it's really they get to decide. Like the company,
Right.
the narrative lead or the the management really gets to decide what is actually canon. But screw canon anyway, because Ruination happened, and that was like the beginning of the end, I feel.
All right. Well,
Yeah, and
did you have a second thing?
yeah, one more thing. So I actually do feel sympathetic for adults that get gender reassignment surgery.
Oh yeah, I wasn't saying I don't feel sympathetic. I just
Yeah,
said
I know.
I just said like I do feel sympathetic for adults, but like when it comes to children, like that just blows. That is like mind boggling.
I
I'm
mean,
it's abhorrent, and I am entirely sympathetic. Like there is no sympathy spared for that I have spared for children who grow up in an
you mean
environment that
spared for people that force children.
um
Oh, sympathy spared. Okay, yeah, I
right
get it.
right
No sympathy spared. Got it.
that for children that grow up in that environment and that end up or grow up in an environment that promotes that and end up transitioning. So yeah.
Got it. Yeah, I was just gonna say that like adults can get manipulated pretty easily as well
Yes.
if you're not
But
prepared for it.
if you're over the age of 18, but if you are realistically we have to draw the line somewhere between
Yes.
like when you are unable to make decisions for yourself and you're not held 100% accountable for your actions, and when you can make decisions for yourself and you are 100% accountable for your actions. And we've drawn that line at 18 because it's a fairly reasonable age to draw that line.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, the only issue I have is like people are like, "Oh, this is going to be so good," and they don't know everything. It's like, "Okay, this is what we're going to do to you. Please sign." And then they just sign without like actually reading. Like they need
Oh
to
yeah, sure.
it should be like legally required for
You're saying
them
that
to
the
go through
process by
every
which
single step. Yeah,
right, the process by which people give consent needs to be more thorough.
correct.
Yes. No, I agree with that. I read something like like a consent process for something like this it could be, and maybe it is this way. I mean, I don't think either of us know, but the consent process could be, I read something to you, I say, do you agree to this? And then you say yes, and then I say, okay, then please read it back to me and say, this is what I agree, or this is what I
Yeah, like
agree
kind
to.
of like this is what's gonna happen. Do you understand? Yes.
Right,
Like a child. Like
right, right.
like
Okay.
that should be done to adults.
Thanks for checking out this portion of our Rage Fest. Let us know what you think about our takes down in the comments. Peace.